Hey, 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 black man. Wrote a letter to a black man. Keep stepping through it. Black man. You make it, you make it, you make it. Black man. You make it, you make it. Promise you can keep it real, dawg. Now you can keep it real. Pain is not forever, you can heal, dawg. You know, and you will, dawg. Oh yeah. You ain't gotta fake it, no. But you ain't gotta treat it like your heart is really vacant. Faking like you don't got no emotions, that don't make sense. I know you trying to get it going and been patient. Using every skill within you, even latent. Doing everything you can do just to make it. Cause you ain't made it, don't forget that yet though. Said you done gave it all to God, what you afraid for? Man, even Jesus got some scars, what you scared of? Too busy holding on to stuff, should've been let go. See, when you scream into the void, it doesn't echo. But what you speak into existence will surely appear. But see, there ain't no GPS help you move through your fear. You gotta give yourself the drive, put you in the gear. Lack of it ruin your years, listen to me. Black man. Wrote a letter to a black man. Keep stepping through it. Black man. You make it.
What's up? Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Letter to a Black Man, the podcast. I am your host, B. Bernardo, and I'm so excited to have you for this evening, for this conversation. Tonight, our conversation is about redefining strength, vulnerability as a superpower. And joining me in this conversation is none other than my brother, Mr. DeCarlos Askew. Thank you so much for joining me on this conversation tonight, man. Sir. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing great. I can't complain. How has your Sunday been so far?
Sunday's been pretty chill. I did a little work earlier and got off, and now I'm here.
Okay, perfect. I really do appreciate you taking the time to sit with me to have this conversation. I can say that we've kind of been connecting over thread, actually. So you've been really supportive of me pushing out the podcast, and we've had conversations. So I was like, okay, hey, why not have you join me? You've been super supportive, so I do appreciate that. So thank you very much.
No problem.
So tonight I think we're gonna have a good time. We're gonna have a conversation. We're talking about vulnerability. So when you hear vulnerability, sometimes it automatically goes to the thought process of a person being weak. So we'll kind of dive in on what vulnerability is and how we can take the weakness from vulnerability and kind of just redefine it and put a new twist on it for me.
Right.
Again, this conversation is for Black men, just uplifting them, encouraging them, empowering them, and just creating a space where they know that they're necessary in this current hour. Like it's a lot. I think we as men have a lot of things that we are looked at to have to be strong for.
Right.
So now we just have to find a way to encourage ourselves, and then this platform was that to encourage men.
Right.
So again, I thank you so much. Before we even get started, I want you to introduce yourself to the viewing audience that we have.
Okay. So once again, everyone, I am DeCarlos Askew. I'm here in Nashville, Tennessee. Been here since 2008. That's who I am. I actually have a podcast of my own with my co-host AD. Shout out to AD. Yeah, man. I'm the owner and mixologist of the Turnupington Experience, a new venture that I just started at the beginning of the year. And yeah, I'm happy to be here. I do want to say one thing before we get started.
Absolutely.
Today is the anniversary of one of my good friends that died 12 years ago. So this episode is dedicated to you, Nugent. We love you and we miss you.
I appreciate that. I
Yeah.
will definitely take a moment of silence just for you. One, me, I didn't know that. So
Yeah.
thank you for just allowing this space to be where you can
Absolutely.
be vulnerable, and it is a safe space. So
Absolutely.
I don't got no tissue, but I got a sleeve. So
It's
and then I got a shoulder. So if you
it's-
need a
it's
shoulder
all
to cry
good.
on, I
It's
got a
all
shoulder
good.
for you.
I
definitely
appreciate
have
that, man. I appreciate that.
So we'll just jump right into it.
Okay.
But before we get started, you did say that you had a podcast. What is your podcast called?
So the podcast is called For the Record. It's a music podcast. Again, shout out to AD. He's my co-host. We started For the Record in 2021. I can't believe it's been that many years. We're on season 2. Took a little break because both of us had a lot of things going on. I had moved to Houston, then I moved back to Nashville. AD went back to school. He was in a dual master's program. He's since graduated. He's moved to Houston now. So it's been like a lot going on. So we're actually in talks right now and trying to figure out how we're going to go with the direction of the third season. Super excited. I love being able to express myself, especially when it comes to music. He's the same exact way. And it's a really, really cool conversation, like we're having right now between me and him. We do go back and forth a whole lot. We disagree on a whole lot when it does come to music, but that's the beautiful thing about it.
Okay.
And yeah, man, I'm really, really super excited. I would not and could not ask for a better co-host. Like,
Absolutely.
we are just super in sync when it comes to that show, and both of us just love it to death. So I'm super excited to start that next chapter here soon.
Okay,
Yeah.
absolutely. I'm super excited to listen to season 3.
Yeah,
come back to
season
season 3.
3.
I'm super
Season 3,
excited
yeah.
to listen to season 3. I know it's going to be dope because it is about music.
Yeah.
So music moves a lot of things. So
Yes.
you can definitely break down some of the lyrics with your music.
Yeah.
You can definitely music can save you.
Yeah,
I would
it
definitely
absolutely.
say.
I tell people all the time, music definitely has saved my life.
And
If there was no
mentioned it.
music, man, listen, I wouldn't be here, honestly. Yeah, I
You
would not be here
mentioned
at
it
all.
before, and
Yeah.
I know that I like music too. I may not like the heavy rap and stuff like that, but I
The
do
riff
like.
raff.
Yeah, I ain't got to have all that, but
Yeah.
I do listen to music.
Yeah.
And it will put you in a space where you're like, okay, there is more.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm definitely excited about season 3 coming.
Thank you.
I look forward to it. I
Yeah.
definitely want to be tuned in to what you all have going on.
Absolutely, and we got to bring you on as a guest too.
Oh, well,
we definitely got to do that. And we gotta share the love. So
Absolutely.
be on the lookout, and we're definitely gonna have you on. Most definitely.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I look forward to
Yeah.
it. So I look forward to it. Now I got to go back in my music arsenal and figure out
Oh yeah, because listen, we're gonna be spitting them facts out, and you got to keep up now.
Oh God. Okay. So I'm super excited about that.
I appreciate it.
A little later in the show, we will definitely talk about the Turnupington Experience, which
Yes,
is the new
sir.
adventure you started this year.
Yes, sir.
So I haven't had a chance yet to experience the Turnupington Experience, but I plan on it.
One
So,
day.
We'll definitely talk about that a little bit later on.
Okay.
So again, tonight's topic is about vulnerability, redefining strength, vulnerability as a superpower. So I guess we'll just kind of get into a couple of questions. How comfortable are you with being vulnerable in your everyday life as of now?
I feel like I'm super comfortable. Being vulnerable is not being weak, and I'm not sure how that came about. Somewhere along back in the olden days, we'll say that. But every day, just in my opinion, being yourself and being able to speak freely and openly about like what you believe in, what you love, what you like, what you don't like, is being vulnerable. You know, we can go back to music. Like some people will not let others know that they like a particular song because it's going to put them in the soft box or weak box. And I just kind of feel like that's silly. Like if you like it, you like it. It's really not that serious. I do like, we're talking about like the new rap and stuff like that. A lot of the new rappers that are coming out now, they have no shame in singing Beyonce or Billie Eilish or Ariana Grande. Like it's music. Like, and if it isn't music, if it's a movie, it's a book. Like if you like it, if you actually enjoy it, there's nothing wrong with it. So I'm super comfortable in just, you know, being myself and being vocal about the things that I like, love, dislike, whatever, and that'll never change. I've probably been this way. If you'd ask somebody who's known me my whole life, I've probably been this way forever.
Okay.
Yeah.
So with you saying, as far as just you being vulnerable, is there ever a time where you've been vulnerable and you may have heard like some people talking like, oh, he's over there, he's in his feelings, he's in his emotions? How has that made you feel?
Absolutely. I will say that as happened before. I can tend to be sensitive, but I'm sensitive to the things that I love and I really, really care about. If I don't care about something, then if you know me, you're going to know that I really don't give a, you know. But I can be sensitive. And of course, you know, I've heard people say that, you know, oh, it's not that serious, or, oh, it's going to be all right. And it's not that it makes me feel away. You know, everybody is entitled to their own opinion. And no one knows what it's like to be me. Like, I don't know what it's like to be you. So I may feel a certain way about it. You may not feel like it's that serious, but I do. And that's the beautiful thing about life. Like, you have your feelings, I have my feelings. I guess it really just depends on the situation or what was said. And I don't really think anything terrible was said, but of course I've had times like that when people would be like, oh man, you know, it's not that serious. Or I didn't mean it like that. And I may have took it that way just because, you know, like I said, I'm very, very sensitive about a certain thing. So yeah.
Okay. As a Black man, do you feel that there is a pressure to always appear strong?
Again, this is just coming from me. I feel like there was. I kind of feel like it's not like that anymore, just because people are opening up more and they're being more vulnerable. But yeah, like I've seen men tell their sons, like, you're not supposed to cry, you a man, or you know, something like that. And I'm just like, it's not that serious. Like, let them be who they're gonna be. Just because they're crying does not make them any less man than if they didn't cry. I don't want to put him on the spot, but I'm gonna put my nephew on the spot. My sister passed in 2020. And when I talked to him, he was, you know, very upset. He was crying on the phone, but he didn't want to cry in front of the girl that he was talking to at the time. He's like, I don't want her to think, you know, I'm such and such. And I'm looking at the phone like,
okay.
Like, your aunt died. Like, why do you care? Like, let the shit out.
Yeah.
Let it out. I mean, that's just what it is. And I understand some people aren't really emotional beings, and that's, you know, okay, that's definitely a thing, while others are super emotional, but trying to hide it because you don't want someone to see you in that state, or even like your father or your uncles or your big brothers, like not wanting them to see you like that because you're going to appear weak to them, is silly to me, and it's always been silly. And I'm glad that I've always been that person that I've really never cared about anything like that. Absolutely. Which my dad wasn't like that. You know, of course I cried in front of my dad, I've cried in front of my brothers and my uncles and my cousins and my friends. Like, I don't care.
Mhm.
I've never cared. But that's just me, and I understand that everybody's not like that. But there definitely used to be like a thing, a really, really big thing for us as Black men or men in general, not to kind of show that side to their fathers or uncles or what have you, because they would appear to be weak or whatever.
Mhm.
It's silly, but I am glad that times are kind of not like that anymore.
Absolutely.
As bad as it was. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I definitely, to elaborate off of that, I definitely do see that because like now I look at social media and I can even just take away from social media, just kind of going back to my life. There used to be a time where I didn't want to show my emotions because it made you feel that you're weak, or you would hear people talk about it and kind of belittle you.
Right.
But now I may not cry as much, but it's like when I have my moments where I'm sitting with myself, dealing with myself, and I'm having to have these conversations with myself. Sometimes I may tear up, but I find safety in tearing up because it's more so of me releasing what the thought of having to be strong.
Right.
Like if I'm so strong for everyone else, who's going to be strong for me?
Exactly.
Like I can't get your strength. I need my own strength. So
exactly.
I'm not sitting here moping in it.
Right.
But I'm also getting the release that I need
for
myself so that I can kind of be good for myself. Because it would be useless of me to sit here and kind of be strong and hold in all of my burdens and things that I've endured and things that I've encountered and not cry. And then I'm walking around broken. So, and then I have now that turns into rage. Can't nobody tell me anything. I don't want to hear anything from anybody else. So I'm gonna get me a good crying.
Yeah,
I'm not crying every day, but I'm gonna get me a good crying.
Yeah, if you need to do it, let it
feel like it's necessary.
Right.
And for a young man that's out there who is in a space where they're like, okay, I know I'm emotionally I'm not going to even say damaged, but I'm in an emotional space. I would like to say that we give you grace to cry.
Right.
Like, of course, you definitely. I also in that crying, you definitely want to be mindful who you cry around.
Exactly.
Because people will use that vulnerable moment and use it as a weapon against you.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I saw you crying. Oh, you weak. This. But again, on the healthy side of it, if you see me crying, you don't know what I went through to get to where I was.
And that's the issue.
And you don't know like the process I had to go through. You don't know what I've endured. All you see is I showed up this day and you don't know what I'm dealing with on the inside. Like it could have taken me forever to get out the bed. I had to literally pry myself out of the bed and I probably was in pain or, whatever. But it's like, I need this moment for myself to strengthen myself, to let myself know that there is more and I can go on.
Right.
So I definitely believe that as Black men, I've seen it again on social media where I've seen Black men kind of express their feelings, like they're not waiting on permission to be seen, to be heard, to be validated.
Right.
Like they're validating themselves in case no one else does. And to me, I applaud that because Black men, again, we've been conditioned to be strong, but this new set of Black men that's coming around or the way that things are now, we don't have to be strong for everyone else and not strong for ourselves. I think now men are being strong for themselves a little bit more. What's the hardest part for you about showing vulnerability in your relationships, whether it's romantic or just a friendship or with family?
The hardest part, I would say, would probably be getting that feedback like, oh, it's not that serious, or oh, you're showing signs of you being weak. Like, I think that would be the hardest part. Not saying that actually happens to me, but I think if if I had to pick something, that would definitely kind of be it. Because if I am in a relationship with you, or we're really good friends, and if I'm being vulnerable to you, I expect you to, number one, listen. Listening is very important, and just receive what I'm saying. Your reaction, not saying that I want you to come hug me and give me a kiss and wipe my tears. Not saying that, but don't be an asshole. Unless we have that kind of relationship to where we're kind of like that with each other. But being an asshole to some people can kind of be like comfort. Like if me and you have a relationship and I cuss you out and it's normal, it's cool. But I might cuss out another friend and they may start crying. So it kind of depends on the relationship you have. But just kind of like being there and showing up for me is going to be the most important thing, instead of just kind of like downplaying whatever I'm going through. Because we're two different people. Your cousin could have passed away and y'all weren't really on the best of times, and you just kind of like, I'm sorry they died. I may have a cousin that passed away and we may not be on the best of time, but it still hurts me. Everybody's different.
Absolutely. And I would definitely say, for me, with that question about the hardest part of showing vulnerability in a friendship relationship, I think my heart is always in the right place. And sometimes I give, and I know my best friend probably would flip if I say this, but most of the time I probably give people the benefit of the doubt, because I can't do to you what you could do something that will hurt me, but I can't do that same thing in return. So my hopes for the person would be that, one, in our friendship or relationship, that we've created a space that was safe for us to both be vulnerable. And just a safe space. Like, I don't want you to be so super strong that you can't be weak. But even in your weakness, I don't have to say anything. I can sit here and just be there with you in that moment to let you know, one, you're not alone. And that's what I would want. Like, how I would show up for you in your vulnerable state would be what I want you to do for me. But sometimes it doesn't work that way. And then again, because different people experience different things. So what I may like, you may not like. How I may handle it, you may not handle it that way. And again, like you say, if our relationship is we talk trash to each other, that may break me out of that moment, because it's gonna break, like, it's gonna shift the atmosphere, and it may make me laugh. It may get me out of that moment. But if we not in that space, you don't get to be in that space with me, because now you may push me further away. Or my reaction, because now I was in a vulnerable space and you took that, and I feel like you played in my face. So now I'm going to rage, and then now I want to fight. And then now this is a whole nother place that we didn't even have to be in. So just, I guess, creating a safe space, because I would create a safe space for anybody. Like, if you want to vent. And I don't have to, and I always tell people, like, when you call me, what do you want from me? Do you want me just to listen? Because I feel like I'm a midday commercial break. When you call me, at some point we're gonna laugh. What you want me to do? You want me to listen? You want me to be sarcastic? How do you want me to show up for you? And that's, you tell me, and I promise you, I'm gonna get you, but I don't want to be insensitive to the way that you need somebody to show up for you.
I agree.
So growing up, what message did you receive about emotions and being vulnerable?
Honestly, I didn't receive any. I mean, I'm just keeping it real. There was a lot of things going on in my childhood, way too much going on. And not saying that I wasn't taken care of, because I was well taken care of, but there was focuses on other things that were happening. And in a sense, I kind of feel like a lot of the things that I know and the way I move were kind of like self-taught.
Mm-hmm.
And just even like thinking back, like, and even now, like, anything that you do to someone, whether it's right or wrong.
Mm-hmm.
You know that you've hurt someone's feelings. Like, I don't have to go down the list, but you know these things. And I even knew as a child, like, okay, I'm not going to hurt this person or hurt anybody because I don't want anybody to hurt me.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of feel the same way now. People who know me, I have a very, very dark sense of humor. I laugh at shit that I probably should not laugh at. I've always been like this. Not making an excuse, but I am old enough and grown enough to say I'm sorry. Like, if you fall right now and bust your head, I hope you don't. But if you did, I'm probably gonna scream. I'm gonna be laughing. But I'm gonna help you up, and I'm gonna make sure you're okay. It may piss you off, but I am gonna apologize because I hurt you. And I kind of like went left with that. But going back to what you were saying, I didn't really have that growing up. I didn't have that person like to kind of tell me, this is how you're supposed to treat people. Don't treat people like that. Like, I really didn't have that. And maybe that's just kind of how things were supposed to happen. And I feel like I'm glad it happened like that because I know I'm a good person. I know I treat people right. And I wouldn't have it any other way. Someone telling me how to treat people, telling me this and telling me that could have changed who I am today. And I love who I am. So, again, not trying to bash my parents and say they should have did this or did that, but there was, again, a lot of things going on then to where the focus wasn't really on that. It was, on something else. And again, like, that's fine. I feel like I've became a pretty awesome person. So, I have no regrets. But no, I really didn't really get those signs from anyone in particular when I was growing up.
And when, crazy enough, when I asked that question to you, I was sitting and I was like, did somebody ever tell me, like, how to manage being vulnerable or just how to handle? I can't go back and say that I really sat while you were explaining. I'm like, this wasn't a conversation that I had growing up.
And you will remember.
And it would be something that you would know to remember. But I was sitting, I was like, and again, I feel like my mom, my stepdad, my aunt, my grandmother, like, they did the best they could. And they because I feel like today I'm a great person.
Yeah.
I know my family, we grew up on love. So we that's what we had, love.
Yeah.
And love for us, each one of us was different, but you just show up, like, you show up authentically. Now, did I show my emotions back then? I believe I did. But then there was an age gap where I know I probably suppressed it a lot. Yeah. And then now I've been able to be in a space where I found my voice. I know that my voice matters. I know that my emotions matter, and I don't let anybody play on that. So I feel like, although I didn't hear it, I may have seen it in the actions of those who I came up around.
Right. And that's very important. Not even the talk about being vulnerable, but I feel like hearing "I love you," which I heard a lot growing up. I know my parents loved me to death. They made sure I had the best of everything. But hearing that is super, super important because it's one of those things growing up. If you heard that constantly, if you were shown that constantly, it's kind of like instilled in you, and you're able to share that, and I'm glad I'm able to share that. I tell my friends all the time, I love you. And I'm going to always do it. I see that meme going around, tell your people you love them until it makes it weird. And I'm kind of like that. I love loving on my people. I love sharing love, and I love receiving the love. And this crazy place that we live in would be so much better if people just kind of like showed their love. But again, like everyone was not brought up to do that, and they think it's weird to tell another person, whether it be male to male, male to female, they kind of feel like it's weird to say it. And I will never understand that, because it's kind of like weird to not say it to me. But again, that's the beautiful thing. All of us are different, and you just don't know why that person is comfortable, saying those, those three words. So yeah,
absolutely. Have you ever, or no, was there a time in your life where you realized suppressing your emotions was harming you?
Yeah. So I'll kind of go back to the last thing. When I was growing up, my brother was on drugs. Shout out to him. He has been clean for 15 years.
Okay, that's what's
extremely proud of him. Extremely proud.
Absolutely.
He gets on my nerves more than anybody in this world. I promise he does, but I love him to death, and I'm extremely proud of him. And again, going through that stuff as a childhood made me who I am today. When I was young and, my brother was out there, there's a big age gap. So my mom has 3 children. Me and my sister, she was born. She was born. I was born a month after she graduated high school. So we're 18 years apart. And then me and my brother are 17 years apart.
Oh.
So my nieces kind of grew up like as my siblings. They're a little bit younger than me, but I didn't really have people like close to my age that were really like my brother and my sister. And my brother would be gone sometimes, and sometimes he would come home and this, that, and that kind of went on for years. And I would be so excited and light up when he would be home. Even though my mom would be cussing and fussing at him, I was just excited to show him what I got new, or what new music was out, or back then I was really into like the Chicago Bulls, the Dallas Cowboys. So it was somebody I could talk about that with, or just anything. It would just really excite me. And then he would kind of go away again. And of course, I would just kind of go back in my bubble. And then I would see him again. I would light up. And it was just kind of like an ongoing cycle. And things kind of occurred over those years. And as I got older, our relationship kind of became like a little strained. Like I wouldn't care if I wouldn't see him. And as I got older and older, it was just kind of like, okay, whatever. Like I don't even know this person. Kind of just push him to the side. And I remember, I think it was my 25th birthday. I was like, okay, I'm turning 25. I'm trying to not be so angry with him, and I wanted him to make sure he was present at my birthday party, and he wasn't. And that just was a completely different hurt that I can't even explain, because I'm just kind of like, I never asked you for anything. This one time, but again, he was on another level. And I just completely stopped talking to him. And it hurt my feelings not to talk to him, but I kind of feel like that's what he deserved, because he couldn't show up for me just that one time. And again, shout out to him. Love my brother to death. We are in a much better place now. He is 15 years sober, but I say all that to say, don't hold stuff in. Just like let it out. And I was at an age to where I could have had a talk with him. Would it have done any good? I don't know. But I still could have done it, because had I been talking to him along the way, I wouldn't have blown up and got so upset there at the end. So yeah, man, that was those were some crazy times, because I was always that kid that was smiling and laughing and happy and this, that, and the third on the outside. On the inside, I was not that person. But I felt like I had to put that on, because number one, I didn't really want people to know what was going on because I would be embarrassed.
Mm-hmm.
And number two, I'm giving you who you're used to seeing. You're used to seeing me happy and smiling and joking around and stuff like that. But if I get the moping, I'm showing you somebody that you don't even know.
Yeah.
You know, so.
And I would definitely say for me, I felt like I was harming myself, withholding or suppressing my emotions around my biological father. We don't have a relationship at this present moment. And I've sat recently for some odd reason. He just kind of keeps resurfacing in my thought process or in my thought pattern. And I can understand pride won't let me reach out because it's like, what can you say that can heal the younger me that needed you back then that I didn't have? So I know there was one years ago, like before I just got to the point where I just said, okay, I forgive you because this is causing me a little too much. Like it's too much time spent on this one situation. I ended up writing him a letter. I didn't know he was going to come over for Christmas that year. And crazy enough, I was talking to a friend about this. So I ended up writing him a letter, and I titled the first line was, "To whom this may concern." It's not to dad because I didn't call you that. You didn't get that from me.
Yeah.
But I wrote, I think it was about a 4-page letter. My aunt was there, or he had came over to our house. My aunt, she was like, "Oh, you getting gifts and stuff?" Because again, when you mentioned it, he would have to speak to me from behind because that's how much I just didn't want to be in the same space with him. But I felt like I had forgiven him. But when I wrote that letter and I gave it to him, everything that I felt, I released it in that letter.
Mm-hmm.
After that, I kind of felt released a little bit, that stuff started happening. Like I was able to get my first car. I was able to move up, like do some things that I felt like me holding that grudge was causing me to have that moment to where nothing was working for me. So now it's like the thought of having a conversation is starting to resurface. Me right now, do I want to have that conversation? No. But do I feel like that conversation is needed? Yes. When it's going to happen? It may not be 2025, may not be 2026, 2027. I'll just say, I'll let the Lord say when that conversation is going to happen. Because if it was with me, I wouldn't want it. But I feel like there's something that needs to be dealt with. So yeah, we're going to cross that bridge when it's time to cross that bridge, but I ain't ready for it.
Can I give you some advice?
I don't want. Sure, go ahead.
Okay, so this is the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Pride is a motherfucker.
Mm-hmm.
If that thought is coming into your head, it's coming for a reason. It's coming for a reason. It's just not. You're just not thinking of damn birds just because, like, what is the birds doing? Like, there's a reason behind everything. There is a reason. You, me, nobody, we do not know what the future holds. You are able to not trust them, not care about them, all that, and still be able to have a conversation with them. Because you just don't know. And not even you, like we in general, we just don't know. We don't know what's coming. We don't know what's going to happen an hour from now.
Mm-hmm.
He could be reaching out for a reason.
You haven't done that.
And if it's for something that you don't want to have anything to do with, be vocal, but at least have that conversation with them. I mentioned my friend that passed at the beginning of the show. And I think about this all the time. So for my 30th birthday, me and some of my friends, we took pictures. And I wanted to just kind of be like, I think we wore like white t-shirts, The dudes wore hats, and we had denim, and the girls did like wife beaters and denim. And we took them on March the 10th of 2013. I call that perfect day because that was the most, like, it was just a beautiful ass day. It was perfect. And we were just like having so much fun in the moment and everything. And we kept saying, like, man, this is a good day. And we laughing and having a good time or whatever. She died 6 days later.
Oh, wow.
Out the blue. So 3 days after that, we had started like reaching out to her, and I was like, hey, you talked to Nuji, you talked to blah, blah, blah. And they had to go over and like kind of knock her door down, and they found her in unconscious. And to this day, I always say March 10th was March 10th for a reason. Like, I knew, yeah, we're taking pictures of my 30th birthday, but no, it was bigger than that. That was our final day. That was all of our last day with her. And I will never, 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 never forget that. It was supposed to happen. So if you have something on your mind, it's on your mind for a reason. Now, again, I ain't no therapist. I can't tell you what to do. I ain't, you know, but it's on your mind for a reason. So I would say, and again, it's not my business, but I would say you can reach out and still have your boundaries. I had to have those boundaries with my brother. He would ask me for stuff, ask me to do this, do that. Nope. I'm doing what I want to do. But I still made sure I was there in some form. Even if your father is on BS, at the end of the day, you can say, okay, this is on my mind. I reached out to try to have a conversation. The conversation may go beautifully. It may be a disaster, but at the end of the day, you had the conversation. You can say you did it. And you never know. That may just lift something off your shoulders. You never know until you do it. So that's my thing. But yeah, man, I'll never forget that day. And after that happened, and I got to thinking, I was just like, you know, when situations like that happen, it's happening for a reason.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So what we'll do, because I'm definitely enjoying the conversation.
Yeah.
Definitely. Now I ain't like, I could edit out the last part, but that I'm joking. I'm really joking. But I feel I receive what you said.
Yeah.
I receive what you said. You know. Okay. So what I want to do is I'll ask you the last question, and then what I want you to do is kind of, again, just talk about the Turnupington Experience, and kind of let us know where the following can follow you at. Again, I've had the pleasure of following you on Instagram. I've had the pleasure of following you on Threads, which is where we connected at, and I've enjoyed it. You've been super supportive, so I do again appreciate you for that.
It's no problem.
But my last question for you would be, because I know you are a music head.
Yeah.
So, you know, we have to ask a question regarding music. So is there a song or an artist that help you process your emotions?
Man, it's so many. It's so many. I kind of feel like I'm gonna give you 3 songs. Okay. So one, I would say, one of my favorite artists, Jay-Z. He has a song, Allure. Anybody who knows me, they know Allure is like my anthem. Allure can make me smile, laugh, cry. I can go through all the emotions listening to that song. In the song, Jay-Z talks about kind of like back in the day, being in Brooklyn, selling drugs, hustling, stuff like that. Of course, it's not me. We don't slang rocks. But he's kind of like reminiscent on the times that he had, whether it was good or bad. And it hits me because it kind of makes me think about my childhood and the relationship I kind of had with my brother and the rough patches we had, but also the good times.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, like, that song can come on right now and I could, again, be jamming or kind of tear up. It just really, really just depends. Another one, I would say, another one of my favorite artists, probably my top favorite is Stevie Wonder. Absolutely love Stevie. He has a song called If It's Magic. And as corny as this may sound, magic is, to me, amazing. He kind of sings about perfection in this song. And we all long for perfection, even though, like, it honestly doesn't exist. Nothing is perfect. But just the thought of wishing it could happen is so dope and beautiful to me. And he plays a harmonica in the song, which he's amazing at. And then there's a harp in the song as well. The song is absolutely beautiful, but I mean, again, I could be biased because I'm a Stevie Wonder fan. So that's my second one. The third one, I would say, another huge fan. I love Aaliyah. She has a song called It's Whatever. And this is my song for, shout out to my soulmate. But this song it's like the title said, like, it's whatever. Like, she's singing about just doing whatever with this special person. Like, whatever you want this to be, it's gonna be. If you want us to be in a relationship, I'm down with it. If you want to be just fuck buddies, I'm down with it. Like, it's one of those songs. But it's so, when I tell you, the song is so beautiful. And I always say it, like, when I first heard the song 1 in a Million, came out when I was in 8th grade. I'm old. But I remember, like, us beating on the desk when that song first came out and just hearing that beat. And I'm just like, bro, like, this is insane to have come out at that time. And I always thought that was going to be my favorite Aaliyah song until I heard It's Whatever. And like I said, it is probably, and I would say, top 5, in my opinion, one of the most beautiful songs ever. Because she's just, all 3 of the songs I would say that I just gave you is probably like top 5. All of them are beautiful in their own right, but this song is beautiful because she's just kind of down with whatever her person is down with. So yeah, I would say that.
Well, while you were talking, I wrote down the songs.
Yeah, you got to check them out.
I'm gonna check them out. I have to, because you said I'm gonna be on one of them episodes. I need to, again, thank you for adding to my arsenal, because I need to know. So I'm gonna start with these 3.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start with these 3.
Yeah.
So what I want to do is give you the floor to just kind of let people know about the Turnupington Experience. The Turnupington Experience. Where did it come from? And kind of where can they find you at? Where can they book you from?
Okay.
And then, of course, you'll send me the information and I'll add it to my profile, so therefore people can get in contact with you.
Okay. All right, folks. I'm joking. So again, I'm DeCarlos. The Turnupington Experience. So I am a mixologist. I've always loved making drinks, like, from before I was supposed to be drinking. It's been that long. Okay. Mom, Dad, if you're watching, sorry, whatever. But yeah, I've always liked to make drinks, and I've always liked to it does something to me to see people having, like, genuine fun. One of my friends, shout out to Carrie, she gave me the name, of course my name is DeCarlos. She gave me the name years ago, Lucifer Turnupington. So Sir Lucifer Turnupington. So I always kind of like love that name. The Turnupington is because I like to turn up. I'm pretty sure you've seen my Instagram. And people who follow me over the years, they ask me all the time, like, how are you still doing this? Because I'm a young tenderoni, and that's what we do.
Okay.
But anyway, so she gave me that name, and last May, I want to say, I took my test online to get my ABC license. And I was like, okay, what am I gonna do with this? I was like, I really don't want to work at like a bar or restaurant because I was already working 2 jobs. What am I gonna do with this? And I was like, you know what? I can kind of like start my own thing. So I kind of like started researching some things. I did my first party by myself back home in Jackson back in November. And people like just loved it, loved the energy. I kind of, make sure I'm back there jamming, making drinks, whatever, engage with the people. Customer service is everything.
Absolutely.
If I go to a bar, I don't want nobody to be like $6.99. Like, damn, talk to me. How are you doing? Like, you have to engage with your people. And I always make sure, like, when I make a drink, how did you like it? Can I do something different? And I try to ask everyone that because we are never too old to learn anything.
Absolutely not.
You can learn something every day.
Yes.
So if I need to cut back on the vodka, if I need to cut back on the tequila, if I need to add more, whatever, please let me know. And there's no harm in that. So one of my friends did a website for me, www.theturnupingtonexperience.com.
Wow.
Thank you very much. And my homeboy Deshaun Smith, he took some photos for me, and she built the site, and it launched on January 1st.
Okay.
So I launched it on that day, and by January the 2nd, I had already booked 3 events.
Okay.
First one being a cocktail making class, which I never thought that I would be doing that. And I didn't really look at it as a class. It was more like kind of like a fun little thing. It was a ladies' night. One of my friends that I've known since like 6th grade, Christina, she hit me up and she booked it, and she had like 15 ladies over, and I showed them how to make drinks. And also I curated a playlist for them, so they had the vibes going. So that was really cool, man. But things have been really looking pretty good. I thought I was going to be kind of nervous, kind of doing it with people that I don't know that's booked me.
Nervous.
But once I get there, bro, I'm like, okay, it is what it is.
Yeah.
And, I'm always kind of like in the cut behind the bar, whatever, while somebody's there, and I'm people watching, and I'm kind of laughing and joking and stuff like this. So I mean, I enjoy it, man. It's been really, really cool, and it's been a huge blessing.
Absolutely.
I will say that, and I hope I continue to have this blessing and it grow and grow and grow all through the rest of the year and to however long that I decide to do it.
Absolutely.
But if you want to follow me on Instagram, my name is Loso. That's LOSO _ DECAR. On Facebook, I am DeCarlos Askew. E is my first name. If you don't know me, then you don't need to know it because I'm gonna go by that. But I do have a Facebook page. I haven't did an Instagram page yet for the Turnupington Experience. I can't talk, but I did make a Facebook page, and it is DeCarlos Askew presents the Turnupington Experience. So I just created that not too long ago. But if you wanna book me, reach out, and we can have that conversation. Hopefully, I get you right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I really do appreciate it. Again, I can't thank you enough for taking a moment to have a sit-down conversation with me about our topic of redefining strength and being vulnerability as a superpower. I am super excited for the relaunch or the coming back of For the Record podcast season 3. Super excited about that.
Yeah.
And then I'm just gonna put my cup over there like this for the Turnupington Experience, so I'm super excited about that endeavor that you have. So
Yeah.
I look forward to us connecting again in the future.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. So what I want to do now, I wrote a little letter because it is letter to a Black man. So
Okay.
I'll end it with this letter, just reading it to a Black man. And it says, "Dear brother, your strength isn't just what you endure. It's in what you allow yourself to feel, to express, and to heal from. True power isn't found in silence or suppression, but it is the courage to be seen, heard, and known. Vulnerability is not weakness. It is the key to deeper connections, growth, and freedom. Redefine strength on your own terms. Let your openness be your armor, your authenticity be your shield, and your truth be your guide. You are not just surviving, you are thriving. Keep walking in power." That's a letter that I wrote to like a Black man, a brother, a
Right.
friend, an uncle, a son, just somebody who needed just to know that being vulnerable is not bad.
Right.
We're taking the sting out of that one and we're gonna put life into it.
Right.
So again, thank you so much for joining me on this conversation. I look forward to us having another conversation here soon. And then maybe I'll be on your podcast, but I got to go back in my music arsenal. You got to make me go back and dig up all my old ones. Now just know I'm 89, so anything before that, I don't know.
Hey, as long as you was born in the 80s,
Okay.
that's good. Because these 90s,
Yeah, they got a little growing up to do.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that. But yeah, no, seriously, like I really, really appreciate this opportunity. I'm always gonna support. It's nothing like a stranger supporting. You know what I'm saying? Like
Absolutely.
people retweet my stuff, share my stuff like all the time, and it means a whole lot because it's kind of like they don't even know who I am, but just the point of them doing it means so much to me. So I'm gonna always support, and I appreciate your support too. And thank you once again.
No problem. Thank you so much. So we're out of here.
Yeah, the TV went off. So
yeah, I know. That's bad.
Turn the TV off. Turn the TV off.
Hey, hey, Black man. Wrote a letter to a black man. Keep stepping through it. Black man. You make it, you make it, you make it. Black man. You make it, you make it. Promise you can keep it real, dog. Now you can keep it real. Pain is not forever, you can heal, dog. You know, and you will, dog. Oh yeah. You ain't gotta fake it, no. But you ain't gotta treat it like your heart is really vacant. Faking like you don't got no emotions, that don't make sense. I know you trying to get it going and been patient. Using every skill within you, even latent. Doing everything you can do just to make it. Cause you ain't made it, don't forget the yet though. Said you done gave it all to God, what you fret for? Man, even Jesus got some scars, what you scared of? Too busy holding on to stuff, should've been let go. See, when you scream into the void, it doesn't echo. But what you speak into existence will surely appear. But see, there ain't no GPS help you move through your fear. You gotta give yourself the drive, put you in the gear. Lack of it ruin your years, listen to me. Black man. Wrote a letter to a black man.